Welcome to the Fine Line Creative Arts Center. I'm so excited that you can join us for our second live stream broadcast. I am joined here by a fabulous studio audience. Right on cue, they're so good. They are socially distanced and appropriately spaced. And we are just excited to have Small Potatoes here with us, as well as Brian Murphy. And so I'd like to introduce the band. Oh, before I forget. I know. I hope so. But before I forget this, if you can give us a donation, there is a link in the chat of the YouTube. And, you know, your donations help us do more of these things and support artists in especially this crazy time in the universe. So now let me introduce the band. We have Brian and Jackie and Rich, Small Potatoes.
That's a C note. In South Australia I was born, heave away, haul away. South Australia round Cape Horn, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling king, heave away, haul away. Haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. As I walked out one morning fair, heave away, haul away. There I met Miss Nancy Blair, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling king, heave away, haul away. Haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. I shook her up, I shook her down, heave away, haul away. Shook her round and round the town, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling king, heave away, haul away. Haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Ain't but one thing griefs my mind, heave away, haul away. Leave Miss Nancy Blair behind, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling king, heave away, haul away. Haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, you rolling king, heave away, haul away. Haul away, you'll hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia.
Though my sails be torn and tattered, and the mast be turned about, and the night wind chill me to my very soul, and though the salt spray sting my eyes, and the stars no light provide, just give me one more morning light to hold. I will not lie me down, this rain a-raging. I will not lie me down in such a storm. And if this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. And though the only water left is but salt to taunt my thirst, I shall drink the rain that falls so steady down. And though night's blindness be my gift, and there be thieves upon my drift, I shall praise the fog that shelters me alone. I will not lie me down, this rain a-raging. I will not lie me down in such a storm. And if this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. Though my mates be drained and weary, and they believe all hope is lost, there's no need for their bones on that blackened bottom. And though death waits just off the bow, he shall not listen to him now. We shall wake to face the morning light without them. I will not lie me down, this rain a-raging. I will not lie me down in storm. And if this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. And if this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. Until I reach another shore. Thank you. Thank you.
You're doing the live audience thing really, really,
really
well.
doing
It's
that well.
And you know something? It's really strange to have you doing it because it's been forever.
Since we've played in front of a live
Forever.
audience.
You know, you just get used to like playing in the living room. You finish the song and it's like church. You know, nothing happens.
Yeah, right.
I just wanted to note that we were very hip this night by starting off with a sea shanty, because sea shanties are so hip all of a sudden. So who knew?
Sea shanty and a song about sailors. We're
Sailor
cruising
song?
right along in themes. Of course, that's where it all stops. We don't have any more kind of songs. So any of you guys happen to ever gone to a pub before? You might drink or anything. Has anyone been to Ireland? Been to Ireland?
Raise your drink if you've been to a
Yeah. Ho ho.
So my first trip to Ireland, I was really looking forward to discovering some new music. So we were in Dublin, and we were at Stephen's Green. So
Nice club.
we went down Grafton Street, down to the Liffey, and there was a pub there, and we could hear the music from outside. Heard the end of a song, didn't recognize the song, so we go in. Band comes back on stage, and they start with Wild Rover, the last song I ever expected to hear.
That song you ever wanted to hear. But as it happens, my very first experiences in an Irish bar, a friend of mine from college had come and he took me into this Irish bar. Very first song I ever heard in an Irish bar. Big surprise.
Okay, well, I don't think this. I think the first song I might have heard in Ireland might have been Country Roads.
Yeah.
Might have been. But I do remember the first bar that we went to was the first time I was there was in Dingle, and it was a bar. I do not know the name because it's in Irish, and how many times I've been there, I can't speak a word of Irish still. But the bar is affectionately known as the Green Bay Packer Bar, because
It's all painted in
it's orange. I mean, it's yellow and
green.
green. Yeah.
On the outside. It's the most garish thing you've ever seen. Now, all right, we'll find out. We'll just find out the answer to this question. I don't want to ask you yet. I've been a wild rover for many years, yeah. And I spent all me money on whiskey and beer. But now I'm returning with gold in great store. And I never will play the Wild Rover no more. And it's
No.
nay, never.
Yeah.
You guys were doing the live audience thing so well until we got to that point. Okay.
Has anybody ever been to a pub before?
I say no. We got the hard part. We have to remember the words. Well, I have the music right here, actually. We say no, nay, never, and you clap your hands 4 times. No, nay, never. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, not. It's not the applause thing. Okay. All right, and they say no, nay, never, no more. You clap twice. And I say, well, I play the Wild Rover once. Then no, never, no more. It's the incredible vanishing clap along. So let's give it a try. You're going to clap 4 times after this first line. Ready? And it's no, nay, never. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, nay, never, no more. 1, 2. Will I play the Wild Rover? 1. No, never, no more.
Oh, that's
Well,
good.
you're doing good, but you'll get it next time. I went into an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady me money was spent. I asked her for credit. She answered, no way, saying custom like yours I can have any day. And it's no, nay, never. What do they for? No, nay, never, no more. What do will I play? The Wild Rover. What? No, never. No, there's one.
Be careful on that last one.
Now, you guys listening at home there, you have to do it really loud because we can't hear you from here. I reached into me pockets. I pulled out sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She says, I have whiskeys and wines of the best, and the words that I spoke sure were only in jest, and it's no, nay, never. What do they for? No, nay, never, no more. What till will I play the Wild Rover? What? No, never, no more. Now, it's kind of like tiling a floor or something. Just about the time you really get it down, you're done, and it won't happen anymore.
I'll go home to my parents. What I've done. And I'll beg them to pardon their prodigal son. And when they've caressed me as oft times before, sure I never will play the Wild Rover no more.
As no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Will I play the Wild Rover? No, never.
That one makes me cry.
Well, now here's
This one does make me cry.
This one does make us cry. It's a song that
You know,
we hadn't learned until
every year I think I'm going to look up the guy's name. This song was written in the 70s. It seems like it's an old traditional song, but it's not. And the man who wrote this song also wrote Dublin in the railroad times, as people say. You got me. I forget it every time. I've asked it. I ask, and it's my phone is over there.
I wrote it.
Yeah.
I wrote it.
When
Brian
I used to
wrote it
play
for
in
tonight.
the Irish band, people would always ask for the train song, and we never knew what they were talking about. But they're talking about Dublin in the railroad times. Close.
Anyway,
Anyways,
this
it's
is a
not
lovely song. It's sort of a famine song. It's sort of a famine song. You there?
In tune. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling. Michael, they are taking you away. Oh, he stole Trevelyan's home, so the young might see the morn. Now a prison ship lies waiting on the bay.
Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. By a lonely prison wall, she heard a young man calling. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crowd, I rebel, they ran me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Low lie the fields small free birds fly. Oh, our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By a lonely harbor wall, she watched the last star falling as the prison ship sailed out against the sky. Oh, she'll wait, she'll hope and pray for her love and botany pain. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry.
So actually, we do have a good story about that. You should
We
tell
were
them
in this
about
little bar. We're in this little bar in on the Dingle Peninsula again. It's which we
Connected with
love
the
the Dingle
hotel.
Peninsula. A little bar, part of the hotel we were staying in, and I think it was a Saturday night, but it wasn't really very crowded, and it was kind of late, getting late in the night, and these young guys walked in, and they had been several stops previous. And they heard me singing that song, and I almost got recruited onto the local rugby team because that song has become a big sport song.
These guys are like college kids, and they absolutely love this song.
But it's the strangest song to be like. Well, rugby's an odd game, I guess, but it's a strange song to be played after rugby matches. I don't know. It's odd, but I'm glad I talked them out of it because I way too small to play rugby. Yeah.
No, it was a fun place. In good jolly old Ireland, people do really just sit around and sing songs together, and people who don't know each other, people who do know each other, and play lots of tunes and things like that. By the way, I feel the obligation to mention to you that we are not an Irish band. This is kind of like doing a Christmas concert, You know the songs, you love the songs, but you only sing them once a year, So if we seem a little unsure of ourselves, we are a little unsure of ourselves, but we know these songs, we love these songs. This one is I don't know if I love this.
I don't really like this one at all, personally.
But
I don't even know what song you're talking about.
you'll find out. Dear boss, I write these words to you to tell you of my plight. And at the time of writing, I am not a pretty sight. My body is all black and blue, my face a deadly gray. And I hope you understand why Patty's not at work today. I was working on the 14th floors and bricks I had to clear, and throwing them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't pleasant, he being an awful sod. He said I'd have to take them down the ladder in my hod. Well, now clearing all these bricks by hand, it was so awfully slow. So I hoisted up a barrel and secured a rope below. But in my haste to do that job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. So I went down to cut the rope, the barrel fell like lead, and clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. I shot up like a rocket, and to my surprise, I found that halfway up, I met the bloody barrel coming down. Now the barrel hit my shoulders, to the ground it sped, and when I reached the top, I hit the pulley with my head. I spun around all stunned and shocked from this almighty blow, while the barrel spilled out half the bricks 14 floors below. Well, when the bricks had spilled out from the barrel to the floor, I then outweighed the barrel, and I started down once more. Still clinging tightly to the rope, I headed toward the ground, and fell upon the building bricks that were all scattered round. Well, as soon as I hit the ground, I thought I'd passed the worst. When the barrel hit the pulley, and then the bottom burst, a shower of bricks fell down on me. I hadn't got a hope. And as I was losing consciousness, I let go the bloody rope. The barrel now being heavier, it started down once more, struck across me smartly as I lied there on the floor. It broke 3 ribs in my left arm, and I can only say, I hope you'll understand why Patty's not at work today.
That, of course, is an old joke turned into a song by our old friend Mike Cross, who was really good at turning jokes into songs.
He was the writer of The Scotsman as well. I'll spare you that one. Well,
Is that one the next one?
I
can't
have
see.
your name written at the top, but I can't song, right?
No.
No, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll do it. Gotcha. We practiced like crazy for this. You can tell. Man, I'm exhausted from it. Okay.
We have to start this one very carefully. Right?
Ready. It's in G.
Yeah.
It's in G. It's in G.
That's the other C.
It's got the C note over there.
Uh-oh. See?
We'll find out.
I'll tell me ma when I go home. The boys won't leave the girls alone. They pulled my hair and they stole my comb. That's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty. She is the belle of Belfast City. She's a courtin' 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who is she?
Albert Mooney says he loves her. All the boys are fighting for her. They're rocking the door, they're ringing the bell, saying, oh my true love, are you well? Out she comes as white as snow, rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. Old Johnny Murray says she'll die if she doesn't get the fella with the whole eye.
Tell me ma when I go home. The boys won't leave the girls alone. They pulled my hair and stole my comb. That's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty. She's the belle of Belfast City. She's a courtin' 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who is she? Let the wind and the rain and the hail run high and the snow come tumbling from the sky. She's as sweet as apple pie. She'll find her own lad by and by. When she gets a lad of her own, she won't tell her ma when she comes home. Let them all come as they will, for it's Albert Mooney she loves still. I'll tell me ma when I go home. Boys won't leave the girls alone. They pulled my hair and stole my comb. That's alright till I go home. She's handsome, she is pretty. She's the belle of Belfast City. She is a courtin' 1, 2, 3. Please don't you tell me who is she? She is a courtin' 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who is she? Thank you. Thank you.
Not bad for not knowing what the key was, so it's okay. It's okay.
I've gotten notes from various times that we've done these songs. And I read the notes, and they're not always the ones that are pertinent to the time that we're playing the song.
Whatever's last time.
Yeah. Okay. Story time. We love Ireland, as we said. We've been there probably about 14 times, and The one thing we love doing most is just wandering around the countryside, you know, and wandering around in strange places. We love to look at old fallen down buildings and things. Cemeteries are fabulous, and they're so old. Oh my gosh. And one of the things that we do in Ireland that we don't do anyplace else in the world is anytime we see a hitchhiker, we stop and we pick them up. Now, the reason being that in Ireland, they're not, you know, axe murderers or anything like that. They're just farmers that don't have a car and they need a ride. You know, you meet the most interesting people. So here we are driving through, what was that? Was it Galway?
Galway.
Galway.
Galway, County Galway.
Yeah. And yeah, it's an odd place in which a lot of the people there don't actually speak English. There is really an Irish language. It's actually referred to as the Gaeltacht. But the Irish mostly just call it Irish. So go figure. But here we are going through the Gaeltacht there in Ireland, and we come across a leprechaun hitchhiking by the side of the road. Now, it sounds like the start of a joke, but actually it's not. We came upon this guy. He was about my height, which is 5'2", not terribly tall. He was about 75 years old, probably. He had on one of those little hats, you know. And I swear to God, he was wearing a green velvet jacket. And he hitchhiked in the Irish way, which is not the crest, putting out of the thumb. It's just kind of looking at you hopefully as you go by. We noticed he had about 3 teeth. And I was screech, pick this guy up. Oh gosh. Well, as it turns out, he's one of these people that doesn't really speak much English at all. But he has a little bit of English, and we get out of him. His name is Johnny Joyce. He has a few acres and a few cows. He's lived there all his life. And he's on his way into the town of, I swear to God, Spittle. For the drinking of the Guinness. We're like, hey, that sounds good to us, you know. So we, now this is also in January. We vacation at odd times. And in January in Ireland, the days are about this long. Who knew? Okay, so we take Johnny into the town of Spittle. We were disappointed to find out it's actually Spiddal. It's better as Spittle, though. But anyway, he indicates that he wants to stop at this shabby little pub called Hughes. And so we're all right, great. So we pull up to Hughes, and we're like, oh, bye, Johnny. You know, have a good one. And he's like, oh, no. He wants us to come inside because he wants to buy us a drink for the tanking of the lift. So, well, it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not normally Miller time for us. But he wasn't talking about Miller. He was talking about Guinness stout. And we were in Ireland with a leprechaun, so what the hell? We stopped. We went in. Johnny brought us a beer. And after we walked in the door, though, we were a little surprised because the place was, it was a lot more crowded than you would expect for a bar in the middle of nowhere in the afternoon. And there was this woman at the end of the bar, and she was singing a song, beautiful voice, and she was singing a song in Irish. And we thought, how lucky for us to have wandered into this situation. This is great. Well, she finishes the song, and she, you know, they don't really applaud. They kind of, oh, no, yeah, nod appreciatively. And a guy at the other end of the bar starts singing another song, also in Irish. We're like, well, this went on for a while. Various people singing songs, all unaccompanied, just singing songs. Now, we had run into a lot of instrumental music there in Ireland, a lot, and it's all fabulous. But we really hadn't come across very many people just exclusively singing, especially mostly in Irish. It was fabulous. So Johnny buys us another drink, and we get another drink, and we sit a while longer. You know. Eventually, they turn to our little leprechaun friend, and they say, oh, Johnny, give us a song. And Johnny gets up, and he belts out this song, also in Irish. Apparently it was funny. People laughed at it. But they didn't interpret it for us. But he was great. He had a fabulous voice. He was really wonderful. We bought a round of drinks. We had another. The evening goes on. We were having a great time. And eventually, though, they turned to me. because they noticed I was kind of singing along to things, and they said, "Say, do you know any songs?" I said, "Well, yeah. Since this is our only saleable skill, we gotta know a lot of songs of a lot of different styles." And having been in an Irish band, an official Irish band for 2 years, and having been an Irish character for 10, 15 years there in the Renaissance Fair, I maybe knew songs that they would like to hear. So I started singing my favorite song. And the place just went quiet. And they listened to my song. And just once in a while in life, it doesn't happen very often, but you know, the gods will reach down and they'll kind of plink you in the forehead and say, "You will sing this song beautifully." Sometimes those gods are nowhere around, but this time, I kind of nailed it. It was good. And the place, when I finished, they went nuts. They went crazy, and these old men grabbed me, and they're kissing me on the cheeks, going, "I love you, I love you, I love you." And I found out why the town was called Spittle. It was like, ugh, okay. But it was wonderful, and it was delightful, and we did end up closing the place. Now, mind you, we got there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we had a lovely time, but now it was Ireland in January, and you can't just go to the local Motel 6. We hadn't yet set up a place to stay. And now it's closing time. We're like, uh-oh. Ireland's a very friendly place. There was a very drunk retired nurse at the bar who happened to live next door upstairs, had a spare room, come on by. So we did. It was lovely. And it happens that the song, let's see. This was the song. Leave in suspense for just a moment more. Get my apple juice. It looks like beer, doesn't it? We can use our imagination. It's apple juice. Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? Now, I took a good guess at these folks here. They all sang along with me in this song. That's a hint. You guys do the live audience so well. Let's try it. Will you go, lassie, go? Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together. And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? You sound like you may have heard this song before. But if you haven't seen the title before, this is Thyme time. It's the beautiful little flowers that grew up on the hillside. I will build my love a bower near yon clear crystal fountain, and upon it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go, and we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? If my true love won't go with me, I will surely find another to pluck wild mountain thyme, all around the blooming heather. Where you go, lassie, go? Where you go, lassie, go? Lovely, good job. Yeah, me too. Me too. I am courting a cold. I've been kind of fighting this thing, and it's winning tonight. But
You know, just to
don't have a cold cancer.
Just to follow up on the Johnny Joyce story, we went back to that pub in 2014. That was 2000, the year 2000, when that story took place. We went back in 2014. We asked about Johnny, and the bartender said, Johnny of the Thumb. He was famous there. Oh, you need help there. But Johnny had passed away just the year before. Just the year before. Careful. Sorry about that back home.
I don't have the words to it. So we take this tour of Ireland every year. Unfortunately, this past year, with the COVID and all the trips were canceled. We actually had another tour going in May, and the trips later in the summer were not canceled, but by May they stopped. We have to miss another year. But our very favorite thing is the very first thing that happens. Spiritual time.
Well, the tour company that we work with is Industry Tours. They're wonderful. They just do music tours, and they do mostly up and down the West Coast. And if you were here for the last show, Joe Jenks, Joe also works with also does the tours with the same company. It's wonderful. If you've ever thought about going to Ireland, particularly for music, they're fantastic. They're fantastic trips. And hopefully they'll be able to start up sometime during the summer, but it just depends on travel restrictions and stuff like that. It's tours for people who don't like tours. Seriously.
Industry tours,
No, just one.
This one,
Anyway, next song is by a friend of ours, a guy named John Spillane. It's like Spillane, but in Ireland it's Spillane. And we were talking about County Cork before. John is a Cork man. He lives in a little town, I think it's just south of Cork City, called Passage West. It's on the river. And John is both a fantastic songwriter, obviously a great storyteller, and funny man, like every Irish guy I've ever met. And he's also he's a tremendous Irish speaker. Speaking of Irish, he's had a couple of TV shows on RTE on Irish TV, and there's a station that just does Irish language, and I think it's the RTE4. And he's had a couple of shows, and one of his shows, speaking of Wild Mountain Thyme, was John Spillane, the Song Detective, where he researched where songs came from. Now that one actually isn't a traditional song, but a lot of people think it is. But it's got an interesting history. There's a lot of interesting history with a lot of the songs that we think that are sort of fallen into the public domain, but they're not really. And that's where he went with the show. But he's also his songs are wonderful, and this is one of our favorites. John is also one of our favorite performers, and he's just so darn quirky. Because when he plays, he'll be sitting like this, especially in a small audience like this. He'll rock back and forth like this while he's playing, and he'll also stare at you for just a little too long to where it's just kind of uncomfortable. But you don't realize how quickly he brings you in, one person at a time, like he says. And he's not autistic. A lot of people kind of think he is, but it's just the oddest stage quirk. I thought maybe there we go. Yeah.
Did I do that whole last song with that off? I don't know. It's okay.
Anyway, John, great performer, great songwriter. And this is a song of his called The Dunnes Store Girl. And if you've been to Ireland, the Dunnes Store, it's D-U-N-N-E-S. It's not D-O-N-E. It's not D-O-M-B. Dunnes, D-U-N-N-E-S store is, it's like a Target or a Sears, somewhere in between. It's just a big department store.
Everybody goes, so, and there's lots of them.
Lots of them. And this is a song about falling in love with Checkout Girl. Like you do.
Like you do.
Here we go. Hey, check out the Dunstores girl. She's the one that rules my world. I wanna walk down the aisle with the Dunstores girl. I wanna waltz down the aisle with the Dunstores girl. She rules my world. I wanna walk down the aisle with the Dunstores girl. In my dreams there's a brother, he's a skinhead, and he wants me dead. In my dreams is right, I say. I'm gonna run down the aisle with the Dunstores girl. She rules my world. Na 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 na. The Dunstores. If I ever heard a sing-along bit, that would be it. The words are so easy. Here we go. Na 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 na. The Dunstores girl. She knows we're looking at her. She knows she's looking fine. She doesn't have all day, and you'll have to wait in line. I would wait in line till kingdom comes, for salvation in her smile. And I'd love to stop that clock, looking down on her all the time, like a jumped up little manager in a suit that doesn't rhyme. And you never patronize her, only always idolize her. The Dunstores girl, here we go. Na 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 na. The Dunstores girl. On a cold and rainy Friday night, waiting for the world to close, when she comes up behind me, so brave and so warm, I know it'll never rain again. I know it'll never ever rain again on the rebel streets of our dreams. And she doesn't believe a word that I say. She laughs when I tell her she's a Saturday maid. And you never underestimate, you never underestimate the Dunstores girl. Na 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 na. The Dunstores girl. Hey, check out the Dunstores girl. She's the one that rules my world. I wanna walk down the aisle with the Dunstores girl. I wanna waltz down the aisle with the Dunstores girl. She rules my world. John Spillane. You can hear John, you can see John on the internet if you look him up. He's really quite well known in Ireland because of those TV shows. And he's also had put out several kids' albums that help kids learn Irish. Where the songs we learned songs we learned in school or something like that. Fun stuff. Oh, you're off with that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes my body cooperates more than other times. This is not what it is. Yeah, rough.
See if we can whack the microphone.
Yeah.
You missed it.
Darn.
What are we doing? I don't have all the...
We're doing also like it's the first thing we do there in Ireland is we always stay at a little B&B for a few days and just to get acclimated to it. The proprietors are Frank and Sheila, absolutely classically wonderful people, and I learned a song really so I could sing it for Sheila.
Aren't the logistics amazing?
I know.
There you go.
And we're so clever little Good thing that this drum is broken already. Anyway, this is a unique song. It's by Jack Hardy, and it's called Sheila, but Sheila's actually spelled S-I-L-E. Sheila. That's crazy Irish. I don't know if I can do this. It might fall off my chair.
Could you hit that one more time? Just
more
I think.
time. I'm taking the thing out
How's
of my
that sound
hand.
at home? Yeah.
All the way up on my shoulders. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Isn't it nice to have people wait on you and stuff?
I hit the microphone too that time too.
But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on this chair. Maybe I'll just do this. I'm going to fall off. All right. Let's just do this. Sheila, I brought you a dress. I found it on the side of the road. And though I know you're deserving of the best, it's all I could be bringing you on my own. Sheila, reminding me of how you stand out from the rest. Your sparkling eyes in these darkened days we know. Cushiony, cushiony, how could I do this blind now? Cushiony, 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 how could I do this blind now? Cushiony. Maybe you give the explanation in the middle here. This is a song about a subgroup in Ireland referred to as the Travellers. They're not well liked in Ireland at all. They're basically gypsies, except that they're not Romany, but they live in little caravans and stuff. And they die young. They drink a lot, they fight a lot. Average age lifespan for a man is 39 years amongst the Travellers. And not many songs are written about it, but this one is. You're young and in your prime, and me, my hair's already turning gray. And oh, how the tongues will go clickety-clack in time, how the dogs will bark when the caravan's on its way. Sheila, in spite of all of this, in the mist behind of Timothy Logan's house, my memory does linger long upon the kiss to this moon that ran away behind. Cushiony, cushiony, how could I do this blind now? Cushiony, 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 how could I do this blind now? Cushiony. Enunciation didn't suddenly just get really bad. That the chorus is in Irish. It's all the Irish we can handle. But the translation of it is, she put it on. She put it on. The dark flowered dress. She put it on. Sheila, not to frighten you away, but this crosses by the side of the road, where many's a traveler has met up with his fate, and mine will be no different, I know. Sheila, a traveler you would be, if this dark and flowered dress you would wear. For though your heart be broken, though the priest turn you away, I can love you well if you would only dare. Cushiony, cushiony, it on the side of the road. What a cool song. I just think that's such a cool song. Sorry about the drum. I could either play the drum or hold it, and I couldn't do both.
So, tell them about the time you made something here at this very place we're
Oh,
playing.
yes. You know, it's funny that the Fine Line, I mentioned to a group of friends, you know, say, we're going to be doing an Irish concert at the Fine Line. And they're like, the what? So it's a folk arts place. It makes fabulous things. They teach classes and everything is wonderful. And they're like, and it's in St. Charles, and I live this close to it, and I don't know about it. It's like the guy's got to work on this. It's like a really well-kept secret. Well, let's see.
It was 30, probably.
Yeah, it was before we were playing together. I had gone to the King County Flea Market, and I found a weaving loom. It was a very kind of battered and basic weaving loom, but it was really, really cool. And it was only, I think it was $95, and I had to buy it. But then I realized, well, it's a lovely work of art, but I have no idea how to weave. But look, there's this place in St. Charles that has weaving lessons, of all things. They pottery lessons, jewelry lessons. They teach everything here. If you want to, is there a brochure or something that they have for this
Well, there's
place?
a lovely website. There's a lovely website that you guys...
Fine line. It's a fine line.
It's a beautiful thing that what you wove.
We have this is a very questionable time here because my body's kind of doing weird things to me. One of the weird things it did was take away my ability to play the penny whistle. Which I love playing the penny whistle. It's such a fun instrument. And this song, it's really necessary to have something that'll do that thing. But being a famous one for faking it, don't worry. When we get to there,
Well, we thought, okay, if we can't use penny whistles, how about kazoos?
we can't find a kazoo that
Yeah,
works
so
either.
we're just gonna hum the melody. If you know it. Now this song, you know, what is it? It was Shannon, right? In the town of Galway, in the county of Galway in Ireland, they had like 1 million people singing. There's not 1 million,
Oh,
1,000 people
there's
singing.
fabulous YouTube. If you just look up Galway Girl,
And it's
Dingle,
not the Ed
Dingle.
Sheeran Galway girl. It's the other Galway. It's the,
Oh, yeah, that's a
it's
different
the,
one.
It's the Steve Earle
Steve Earle wrote this song.
Galway girl.
But Sharon,
Yeah.
Sharon Shannon released it on an album.
Well, of course
Yeah,
she
yeah,
did.
And then everybody else.
But this fabulous video, it's in Galway, and there's thousands, really, literally thousands of people in the audience, and they're all dancing and singing this song. It is the happiest thing you've ever seen. So be prepared to get happy, because we're just going to try and invoke that.
What's her name? Emma, the dancer, the Shano dancer.
Oh, I don't know
can't
her
remember her
last
last name now. But there's a woman
She
who
was dancing.
dances in the old part of Galway. They have it's like a shopping area, and she's got her corner, and she dances in Shano style is much more like clogging.
It's
It's
really
the
kind of
old
loose.
style, they call it. So it's not this step dance, real stiff thing. And this one, her name is Emma, and she's rather famous. And you should just look up YouTubes of her, because it's just so fun to watch her dance. I guess maybe I'm getting a little jaded, but I kind of feel like step dancing, I'm starting to call it Stepford dancing. You know what I mean? But when she dances, it just looks so fun. And I just think of these all together, because it all sort of happened in the same part of Galway there. Shall we?
We should.
Well, I took a stroll down the old long walk of the day. I met a little girl and we stopped to talk of a fine soft day. And I asked you, friend, tell me what would you do? 'Cause her hair was black and her eyes were blue. And I knew right then I'd be taking the world down to Salt Hill Prom with a Galway girl.
Here's a party time.
We were halfway there when the rain came down of a day. She asked me up to her flat downtown of a fine soft day. And I asked you, friend,
What's it?
gonna do? Her hair was black and her eyes were blue. I took her hand and I gave her a twirl, and I lost my heart to a Galway girl.
Not with us.
Even better than a fiddle and a mandolin.
It's the mouth music version.
When I went home, I was all alone, with a broken heart and a ticket home. And I ask you now, tell me what would you do? 'Cause her hair was black and her eyes were blue. 'Cause I traveled around, I've been all over this world. Yeah, but I ain't never seen nothing like a Galway girl. Thank you.
Well, okay, we got a couple more songs, but this is,
That was I kind of liked it that way.
yeah, I know, it was kind of nice.
Look, my shoes match her pants. These are the most comfortable shoes. They were like $30, and they're the most comfortable shoes I've ever owned.
We just went this afternoon to get my second shot. Unfortunately, the only place I could get an appointment was in Bloomington. So it was a little far away, but I had several people comment, "Oh, where is my purse? I don't know, I probably lost it." I have a purse that I take to Ireland every year. It's just my carry-all purse, and it's the same color as my pants. And everybody just chose that. Say, you know, your purse matches your pants. Thank you. Anyway, not yet. I'm pretty iffy from this whole experience.
I'm not playing. Yeah.
No, Brian doesn't play with us normally, and we love to have him come and play with us and sing with us. It's so wonderful. But we played at Dirty Nellie's in Palatine. We've played there many times at St. Patrick's Day. We actually were offered a job this year, and we refused because they're going to be a crowded bar like you are. I'm like, I'm sorry, I haven't worked this hard this long to go to a crowded bar on St. Patrick's Day. But once in a while, when they pay us enough money, we'd be able to bring Brian with us. We were it was a lovely night. Oh my gosh, it was 80 degrees. It was totally odd because it was, March 17th. It was 80 degrees, but it was fabulous. But what was even odder about it is Dirty Nellie's is always like really crowded and really drunk and really loud and everything. But where we were playing outside, we thought, oh my God, this is a disaster. Then we realized it was going to be 80 degrees, and we were, whoa! Unfortunately, no one showed up. There was like 4 people sitting out there in the audience. Wow, and we were scheduled to play from 8 to 11 o'clock. Uh-oh. But then we got a couple of songs in and realized, oh my God, we had practiced so many wonderful songs, and I don't know, it was just for a waste because there was nobody there. Then, suddenly this whole bevy of young women, various ages, but mostly young women, came in. They were all obviously together. They had green T-shirts, and they had flashing earrings, and they had funny hats, and they all, woo! And they're standing in the back corner, and they're coming into this tent, and they look at us, and they said, I could hear it. Do you think they know the unicorn song? And I said nice and loud over the microphone, say, did I hear somebody mention the unicorn song? And both of these guys look at me like, you wouldn't dare. Now, the unicorn song, however, had gotten through some very painful situations in the past. So we just said, well, my usual response, you don't have to do this, okay? You don't have to stand up. But I said, you can't possibly do the unicorn song without the unicorn dancers. Now, if you're willing to be the unicorn dancers, we could do the unicorn song. They were psyched. They were all into it. They came and they lined up in front of us like, yeah. Now, teaching them the unicorn dance. It's acting out the words to the song. I bet you're familiar. There was green alligators, long-necked geese, humpty-backed camels, and chimpanzees. There was cats, rats, elephants. But sure as you're born, the loveliest of all is the unicorn. Okay, now this is a sign for the unicorn. It's not this, it's this. They're different. Let's give that little chorus a try here, shall we? Come on, they can't see you. Here we go. Well, there were green alligators and long geese and humpty-backed camels and chimpanzees. Hey, there's cats, rats, and elephants. Sure as you're born, the loveliest of all is the unicorn. Very good. Ooh, gotta turn the cameras around. Well, I happen to know all million verses here. I'll try and leave out a couple of them.
We're in trouble.
Yeah. A little faster, maybe. Well, a long time ago when the earth was green, there's more kinds of animals than you've ever seen. There's running around free while the world was being born, but the loveliest of all was the unicorn. There was green alligators, there were long-necked geese, there was humpty-backed camels and chimpanzees. There's cats, rats, elephants, sure as you're born. The loveliest of all is the unicorn. Very nice. Well, the Lord seen some sinning and it caused him pain. He said, stand back, I'm gonna make it rain. Says, hey, brother, no, I'm gonna tell you what to do. You build me a floating zoo, and you take some of those green alligators, take some long-necked geese, take your humpty-backed camels and your chimpanzees, take your cats, your rats, your elephants, sure as you're born. Don't you forget my unicorns, or me forgetting the words. Well, Noah was there to answer the calling. He finished making the ark just as the rain had started to fall. He marched in the animals two by two and called out as they went through. Hey, Lord, I got your green alligators, got your long-necked geese, I got your humpty-backed camels, got your chimpanzees, got your cats, rats, elephants. Lord, I'm so forlorn. I just don't see no unicorn. Well, Noah looked out through the driving rain, but the unicorn was hiding. They was playing silly games. There was a kicking and a splashing while rain was a-pouring. Oh, those foolish unicorns. There was green alligators, there was long-necked geese, there was humpty-backed camels, there was chimpanzees, there was cats, rats, elephants, sure as you're born. He just didn't see no unicorn. Well, now, this song is in high competition with Puff the Magic Dragon. for having the very most depressing verse. It goes like this. Well, the ark started moving. It drifted with the tide. The unicorns looked up from their rock, and oh, they cried. Then the water came up and sort of floated them away. That's why you'll never see a unicorn to this very day. But you'll see green alligators, you'll see long geese, you'll see humpback camels, you'll see chimpanzee, you'll see cats, rats, elephants, well, sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn. Now, as if this song wasn't long enough already. Just about we get to the verse before this. The little group of girls was joined by another younger girl who also obviously belonged to him, had the same kind of basic outfits. Turns out Grandpa had taught him all these songs. Thank you, Grandpa. They were having a really good time, but this girl was not familiar with the song. So the other girls had, given her the tutorial, caught her up to speed, and it was all cool. But we got to that point in the song, and this girl looks up from the stage. She's like, "You mean the unicorns die?" And I said, "Oh yeah, honey, I'm sorry. The unicorns die." Happily, I had Jackie's big book of Irish tunes, and I had looked on the internet, and you can find anything on the internet. And someone had solved that really sad problem on the internet. And the last verse, the very last verse, was like this. Well, you may think this is the ending to the song. I have you tell you friends that in fact, you are wrong. Because unicorns are magical, and when the rain started pouring, they sprouted wings, and they took to soaring. So now you have green alligators, you have long neckies, you say humpback camels, you got chimpanzee. But if you're looking for the unicorns, don't be forlorn. Second star to the right, straight on till morn. There's green alligators, long neckies, humpback camels, you got chimpanzee. You got cats, rats, elephants, sure as you're born. The loveliest of all was the unicorn. Okay, we're getting to the end of the thing, and we think people like to think that we like to invite Brian to come up and sing with us on Irish gigs because he's such a nice fella and he's good looking and he plays good bass, and gosh, he sings so wonderfully on the harmonies. But really, the real reason, he does one hell of a job with this next song.
Well, he's setting up, but just remind you folks and you folks at home too that if you want to donate to both the Fine Line or us, whatever, people have been so incredibly kind to us. So maybe you should give your money to the Fine Line tonight. We'll share.
We actually
we'll share
survive on the kindness of strangers, and strangers and friends are very,
But the
very
donate
kind.
link, the donate link is on the chat, right? The donate link is on the chat.
Okay.
And now, Brian?
So I was invited to play at an Irish concert. Headliner was Tommy Makem, who ended up becoming a very good friend. But I had played all sorts of different forms of music, but I'd grown up with Irish music, but I didn't really know it was Irish music because it was just when the family got together and made some noise.
His name is Brian Murphy, by the way.
So I was asked to do the song Danny Boy. And I thought, well, I pretty much cringe every time I hear somebody's going to do Danny Boy because I know something might go tragically wrong with the high note.
Tell me about it.
And everybody's got ideas of different verses for Danny Boy. So I found something that I really liked. So I start this song with some communication going the other way. And there's an Irish tradition that those who leave this realm of being alive and walking around in these bodies on the earth. When they leave this realm, they're still with us. They're still paying attention, and they especially hear all the music we play. The valley's hushed, and the flowers are all dying. The meadow is white with the winter snow. Lord, as I stand in the place where Daddy's lying, I say a silent prayer. Somehow I know He hears me there. Though soft I tread above Him, and now He sleeps in peace. His Danny boys come home. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the leaves are falling. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. For I'll be near in sunshine or in shadows. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. And when you come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I will maybe, you'll come and find the place where I am lying and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear those soft you tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be. Then you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to
Oh, speaking of danger in the high notes, I was just thinking 2 years ago, Sunday mornings, what's his last name? Dean Richards on WGN always has the band Aaronmore, Brian's band, which I also play in. It's an all incestuous big family, whatever. Dean always has the band come down to promote the gig that we do at Gaelic Park, the big Southside Irish Parade ending, big beer fest. And so, we planned a couple of songs, and Danny Boy was not in the plan. But Dean kind of ups and says, "So Brian, I hear you do a great Danny Boy," and so Brian kind of pulls it together, but me and Buzz, Brian's brother, are just freaking out because we're trying to figure out how we could do the harmonies, because I don't normally sing the harmonies, and I can't sing the high part, and he doesn't know the other part, and so we're just like, oh my
And we're
God,
live
what
on
are
the
we gonna
radio,
do?
okay.
Fortunately, Brian cut it short after the first verse. It was like,
Smooth and professional. We usually do this with a guitar intro and then piano takes over, so I usually don't even play the whole thing on guitar. So, but I can see these guys kind of huddling and figuring out what we're going to do with the second part of the song.
it was one of those moments, and I was thinking all about the high notes. It was awful. It was
I was, like I said, in this Irish band, and I was the junior member. There's 4 people in the band, and what everybody did, unbeknownst to me, but I would have done it too. They grabbed all of the 4th person who left. They grabbed all of her best songs, and dumped all of the things they never wanted to sing in this lifetime on the new kid. So, I was the official singer of Danny Boy in the group. And we're in this 5 hours a night, 5 days a week, Rush Street in Chicago. And it wasn't a matter of whether or not I'm going to hit the high note. It's just how badly I am going to miss it and how embarrassing it's going to be. Oh, you do a lovely job.
So I think are we down to one more song? We're down to one more song. I think we've gone on probably longer than we should have. I hope that's okay. We tend to do that.
We love the music that we do, and we love to talk about it. It isn't a matter of just being a professional. It's a matter of doing the things you love and the songs that we love. This is a song that it's very popular in Ireland, and it's pretty popular here too. But our tour groups, I think we all adopt this song as our official song. I hope I can hit it. For all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. For all the comrades that e'er I had, they are sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. Slanawalia, as they
Safe
say.
home.
Safe home.
Thanks, folks. Click on that little donate button for the fine line. Thank you.
You guys have been a great great audience, making up in enthusiasm what you don't have in numbers. Thank you. And thanks to you folks to, listening out there. I hope you heard some stuff you like.
Good night.
Thank you.
And this is Jackie's big book of Irish tunes. It has...
It's missing some tunes.
It is
too.
missing. Well, I took them out to put them in order here, but it has over 150 songs in it, so...